Hello everybody, welcome back to the Brothers Grimdark, and it's another Night Lord's day today, and today we're going to be talking about a big old flying bat, the Heldrake. So he's a fun unit. I really enjoy playing him. We're going to talk a little bit about why I've got a Heldrake, how I made him, and how I use him in game today. So first off, Heldrakes to me, I've always liked the model as much as anything else, and I like the just idea of a giant flying demon engine thing. It just looks cool and sounds cool. And for Night Lords as well, who are generally like being around on jump packs, flying through the air, causing terror, it felt like it fit thematically quite well for the army. So I'd always kind of planned on throwing a Heldrake in there at some point. And then this was a bit more of a coincidence. I think I'd actually already bought the Heldrake model, but hadn't started putting it together yet. And I just happened to be sort of scrolling around Games Workshop website, which is a very dangerous thing to be doing. And I was going through the Age of Sigmar models and came across the vampire, I think he's a vampire, but the giant undead zombie bat thing. And I immediately saw it and went, that looks like the Night Lord's logo. He's got giant bat wings, big skull hill, a big skull face. So I just thought, I've got to turn that into a Heldrake, even though I've already got one. So picked up that model and basically smashed it together with the Heldrake. So I put a bunch of the armor plates from the Heldrake on there to make him look a little bit more armored and things. Did a little bit of converting and made him a big base, which has got a nice dead Space Wolf Dreadnought on it. And yeah, I think it looks really cool. It's definitely the biggest model I've got in my army. He's very imposing on the table. Lyndon actually came up with the idea of using, I forget which scenery pack it is, but it's like I've got a volcano or a little burst of the ground coming with flames and things coming out of it. I think it's lava from some Chaos kit maybe. But using that for like his flames. So he's literally breathing flames. So he's got that coming out of his mouth, and that was really fun to figure out how to paint. So yeah, that's my Heldrake. It was really, really fun little conversion to do, and he looks very different and just felt perfectly Night Lords to me, the way I've kind of got him right now. And the bonus is, because I put those two kits together, I've now got enough bits from those two kits to potentially make another Heldrake at some point, but we'll get to him later. So that's my Heldrake at the moment, and yeah, he's really fun to play with. So what do I do with him? For one, he has a hilarious amount of movement. When he's not hovering, he goes 60 inches, which is going to get you from one side of the table to the other. So nothing can hide from him, which is fun. He has 12 wounds, so I tend to not bother spending a lot of CP or things trying to protect him or doing things fancy with him. He, to me, is just a pure distraction missile. You can just fly him to the other end of the table, stick him in your enemy's lines, have him flaming things to bits, and he'll die eventually, but he's got 12 wounds and he regens wounds each turn as well, which is quite nice. So if you don't put him down, he can just sort of hang out there for a surprising amount of time too. He's not the most ferocious, but again, you've got the Bale Flamer, which is an assault weapon, and it's also, with Let the Galaxy Burn now, you get those extra attacks. So it's doing 2d3 plus 2 attacks with that Bale Flamer. It's AP minus 2, damage 2, so it will take Marines out, which is cool, and strength 6, which is kind of handy. So it's a decent, actually, weapon. Not crazy powerful, but it's pretty good. Again, you can use it in combat as well, which is quite nice. So generally my plan with him is get him to the other side of the table, flame something to bits, hope he survives until the next turn, and then put him into hover mode and charge something. And at that point, I don't really care if he makes it much further than that. He's already kind of done his job, just to be a real nuisance. And you've got this ginormous bat to deal with in your lines. In combat, he's okay. He's only got 5 attacks, and he's AP minus 2, damage 2 again. So again, decent-ish against Marines. He's strength 7, so he's going to be wounding most things on a decent amount. So he's okay. As I said, he's not going to be the thing that you build your army around necessarily, but he's a real nuisance. And some games you don't really want to be investing a bunch and killing him because he's not super scary, but he will just hang around and just slowly chew his way through whatever he's up against. I think we played a game recently where he charged the unit. Lyndon was playing with the Tyranids, and he got in combat with a unit of Zoanthropes, a unit of Raveners, a unit of Warriors. He took out all of the Warriors. He got through a few of the Zoanthropes, and I think then exploded and took out a couple of Raveners on the way. So more than made his points back up there. And yeah, it was just something that, you know, Lyndon had to deal with for 2 or 3 turns. So I really like him. I don't think he's the most amazing in-game, but he does have a role, especially because Chaos don't have any infiltrating units, really. Especially Night Lords. I think there's other legions that you can do that with, but Night Lords have nothing that can really infiltrate. So having something with a 60-inch move can actually alleviate a little bit of that and get you some really good early board presence. On something with a good pile of wounds and decent damage output that the opponent's going to have to do something about. So that's my Heldrake. He won't be in every game I run, but he's going to be in some of them, and he's usually going to be a lot of fun. So, and fun is what we're all about. So expect to see him around, and maybe at some point in the future, his little brother will be coming around as well, which I'm very excited about. But he'll be a project for the future. So keep your eyes out for him, but maybe not anytime too soon. But at some point, I might have more than one giant flying bat. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of Heldrakes, and if you've got any other kind of good ways of getting chaos up the table really quickly. And yeah, that's it. And we'll see you again on another episode of The Brothers Grimdark.